Right now at 6, authorities respond to a truck crashing into a restaurant in Neosho. And we are considerably colder out there after a very powerful cold front rolled through. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up. And Jasper County officials are now looking to start rebuilding and replacing all that was destroyed after a pipe burst in the courthouse.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 o'clock on this Wednesday morning, and it is extraordinarily cold outside. I hope all of you folks at home are ready for another edition of Mornings with Chris Warner. It's going to be exciting. I wish I had better news for you that, it was going to be warm today, but I don't because it's not, and that's just, the way Mother Nature's playing the game. Quick look outside. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. It looks all right. You could see it's windy. We still have those gusty north winds out there shaking the camera. Those gusts pushing 20, 30 miles an hour, and they are putting our wind chills into the single digits and teens this morning. So make sure as you head out, you definitely bundle up. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, looking back to the west, looks okay. It just doesn't feel that way. But this morning's the first morning in quite some time that I actually had to put on my coat. I really enjoy not having to do that. It's just one more accessory, one more item you have to worry about. KDOT camera, 69 at Kansas Crossing, also looking pretty good this morning. Temperatures, on the other hand, don't look so fantastic. 22, both Joplin and Pittsburgh, whereas 24 hours ago, we were almost 50 degrees warmer than this. Kids getting on the bus, again, it looks nice. Mostly clear skies, doesn't feel nice. 24, north breeze, 10 to 20, gusting to 30, so that's going to keep those wind chills in the single digits and teens this morning. So make sure they bundle up, and they're probably still going to want that jacket when they come home as well. 41, mostly clear, but the good news is that north wind finally lets up, coming down to about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to have mostly clear skies through the day, and again, by this afternoon, the winds let up, which is great news, but it's going to be a slow climb to get into the upper 30s and low 40s out there today. So we're anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees off of normal, which is just wild because yesterday we actually broke a record for our high, and today we're 10 to 15 degrees below normal out there. Mother Nature and weather in the 4 states, always something exciting. We're going to have a complete look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Now to this morning's top stories. Jasper County authorities charge a man with child sex crimes. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office started investigating Rusty Little of Anderson on February 7th. During the investigation, they say they learned he performed sexual acts on a young girl. Deputies arrested Little yesterday in Joplin. He is now facing charges of first-degree statutory sodomy and sexual misconduct involving a child. A federal judge yesterday sentenced a Carthage man to prison for child pornography. 36-year-old James Beam pled guilty to 1 count of receiving and distributing child pornography after sending an explicit video to an undercover FBI agent last September. Beam will serve 12 years in federal prison with 20 years of supervised release afterward. Missouri State Highway Patrol responded to a motorcycle crash just south of Reddings Mill yesterday evening. 22-year-old Nicholas Glover of Seneca was riding a motorcycle north on Missouri 86 and attempted to pass on a curve and double yellow line. He sideswiped an SUV and then hit a minivan head-on. Glover was pronounced dead on the scene. No one in the other vehicles suffered any injuries. And a pickup crashed into the Denny's in Neosho yesterday, leaving the business temporarily closed. It happened just before 7 after officials say the driver of the pickup accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake. The truck drove into the waiting area of the restaurant. Officials say no one was injured in the crash. Denny's is closed for now as they wait for a contractor to complete temporary repairs to bring the building back up to city code. Fire crews in Neosho battled a grass fire in Morse Park. The Neosho Fire Department got the call around 1:30 yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, they found active flames rushing through the wildland brush, burning leaves and spreading quickly. Crews worked hotspots for hours as an estimated 30 acres burned. Though homes or buildings were damaged and the cause of the fire is unknown. And after a record year for pedestrian fatalities in 2022, there was a modest decrease to start 2023. A report from the Governor's Highway Safety Association found drivers struck and killed more than 3,300 people between January and June of 2023. That's a 4% drop from the first 6 months of 2022. Stepping back to look at the past decade, though, pedestrian fatalities are up 58% since 2013.
And a car really doesn't have to be going that fast to pose a deadly threat to a pedestrian, meaning like 25 or 35 miles an hour. That could be a fatal crash for a pedestrian if the car is large enough. And with more larger cars on the road, we're probably seeing the outcome of that in our crashes.
The GHSA says local governments that implement Vision Zero plans help drive down pedestrian fatalities. Measures include narrowing intersections with bump outs, adding more bike lanes, and increasing enforcement of traffic laws. 1 month after a pipe burst in Jasper County Courthouse in Carthage, county officials are now looking to start rebuilding and replacing all that was destroyed by the damage. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Once a newly refurbished office is now only a shell of one.
I got this office back a week ago today, and was able to come in and say, oh, now what are we going to start making plans and move forward. And that's what we're doing.
Jasper County Collector Steve McIntosh's office is one that was destroyed by a burst pipe back in January.
The goal is, and what I'm tasked with doing, is putting it right back the way it was before. Sure. And that's really what I want to do. I liked what we had. Yeah. We want to go right back to where we were.
As you can see here, traffic cones, caution tape, and large dumpsters line the courthouse building as the cleanup process continues, a process which was made more difficult when unexpected discoveries were made.
I was actually barricaded out of this office as they abated the lead-based paint on the ceiling for 3 weeks.
There's still a lot of work to be done, and as of now, the collector's office in Carthage will remain closed until further notice.
It's going to have to be shut down, and we're looking at probably a minimum of 3 months to get it put back together again.
However, McIntosh wants the public to know that this is not the end of the world.
Please bear with us, be patient. My Joplin office in the Joplin Courts building is fully functional. It's open. You can go online and do things. You just simply cannot come into Carthage and pay in person or get anything in person out of this office.
Reporting in Carthage, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
McIntosh says insurance will cover the cost of the repairs. And that is a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, Starbucks says it will begin talks with the Workers United Union to reach bargaining agreements. We'll have the details. Plus, Nikki Haley again vowed to stay in the race through next week's Super Tuesday. We'll have the latest on that. And we'll have another look at that very cold Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. According to Fidelity Investments, the number of so-called 401k millionaires jumped 41% last year. The growth in the number of 401ks with balances of at least $1 million was driven in part by strong performances in stocks and bonds in 2023. Steady savings rates and employer-provided matching contributions also helped. The average 401k balance rose to $118,600 by the end of 2023, up 14% for the year. Among Gen Xers who will start retiring over the next decade, the average balance topped $500,000 for those who've been saving for at least 15 consecutive years. Starbucks having a change of heart. The coffee chain says it'll begin talks with the Workers United Union to reach bargaining agreements and develop a framework for workers to organize. The hope is any deal will resolve a lawsuit between the two sides. It's been more than 2 years since the first Starbucks store voted to unionize. Since then, the company has fought aggressively against stores unionizing. National Labor Relations Board has accused Starbucks of violating labor law, an accusation the company denies. The union is welcoming Starbucks' new move. In its statement, Starbucks says that this framework for talks will include a good faith offering to Workers United members. They will get benefits first given to non-union co-workers in May of 2022. Be all you can be, but do it somewhere else. The Army is cutting 24,000 positions. It's the result of military shifting priority away from counterterrorism and toward Russia and China. Army numbers swelled almost 600,000 during wars in the Middle East, and it just doesn't need that many anymore. This changed national defense strategy, started under the Trump administration, has also been endorsed by the Biden White House. In reality, the Army may not have to actually discharge anyone. That's because recruitment numbers have been down in recent years. Fewer young Americans are interested or qualify for service, and low unemployment rates have given them other options. CBS News projects former President Donald Trump has won the Michigan primary over former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Yesterday, Haley again vowed to stay in the race through next week's Super Tuesday. President Biden is the projected winner for the Democrats, though activists in Michigan are also claiming victory in their push for a protest vote. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
Another victory lap for President Biden and former President Trump, projected to win their Michigan primaries, putting us one step closer to a rematch in November.
I think we have a presumptive nominee.
On social media, Trump simply posted, "Thank you, Michigan," after picking up a fifth primary victory over his former UN ambassador, Nikki Haley. At an earlier campaign event in Colorado, Haley's supporters urged her not to drop out.
All right, y'all, I'm still standing here.
On the Democrat side, President Biden faced a key test from those who oppose his handling of Israel's war on Hamas in Gaza. Despite the landslide win, some activists in Michigan, home of the largest Arab American population in the U.S., are claiming a victory of their own. The campaign pushing past its goal of 10,000 voting uncommitted in protest.
This is the only way we can raise the flag to Democrats that you are going to lose unless you call for an ultimate ceasefire.
Earlier this week, the president said the U.S. and other nations are brokering a deal to pause fighting during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan in exchange for hostages.
We're close. We're not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
While President Biden thanked the people of Michigan for exercising their right to vote in a statement last night and called attention to the United Auto Workers and abortion rights, he did not mention the war. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Well, tomorrow, President Biden and former President Trump are expected to pivot their focus to immigration with dueling trips to the southern border in Texas. Republicans have a handful of caucuses and primaries coming up in several states before next week's big Super Tuesday contest. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, and it is considerably colder out there. Skywatch Storm Tracker clear, save a few clouds. And you see where we did get at least a brief window of some snow showers out there, but of course they did not add up to much, and I saw maybe a half dozen or so small snowflakes on my way here to the station this morning. Our camera 7th range line looking good so far, but it is cold and it is breezy, and it will not be very warm today. Upper 30s, low 40s under mostly clear skies out there. We will eventually warm up. We're going to have another look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes.
Dear Winter, our squad of vehicles with all-wheel
theater celebrating its 84th season.
Well, when a guy tried to mansplain how a female professional golfer should improve her swing, the internet swung back. Jeannie Moose reports on golf tips that went viral for the wrong reasons.
When this professional golfer got unsolicited advice from a guy watching her, he got whacked online for mansplaining. He just said, "Excuse me," and started offering tips.
What you're doing there, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be right through, swing and follow through.
Little did he know this was PGA player Georgia Ball.
Okay.
A British golf coach.
I'm going through a swing change at the minute, so everything I'm...
What you're doing there is you coming back too slow. You know, I've been playing golf for 20 years.
Georgia bit her tongue, posted one commenter. Your restraint from wrapping your club around his neck is commendable. She did shoot one look at the camera, and then he took credit for that swing.
See how much better that was?
Yeah, thank you. I do think that was, yeah.
The patience of a saint. The mansplaining in this video is major ick. Georgia told ITN's This Morning show,
as a humble person, it's just not in me to say I'm a professional golfer and I know what I'm doing.
A host apologized on behalf of men everywhere, But others disagreed. The man was just trying to help. Have you descended so low that you see advice as offensive?
Keep doing that anyway, okay?
Thanks for your advice.
Pulling a T out of her hair, Georgia just appeared in a new sponsorship video. The way she teed up her mansplainer left him digging himself deeper into a bunker. Jeannie Mose, CNN.
Thanks for your advice.
New York.
You always got to be cautious when you're offering advice, and I'm sure that she's not below receiving advice. It's just, when you're a professional golfer, you do kind of know what you're doing. I am not a professional golfer, so if somebody offered me advice, I'm all for it because I am terrible at it. All right, let's take one more look outside, and then we're going to take another look at your forecast. It is breezy. The camera is shaking in the wind. It is cold. We will eventually warm up, just not today. We'll talk all about that in the full forecast right after this.
Wesco Home Furniture.
Forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:22 on this Wednesday morning. Live look from MoDOT camera, 32nd and Rangeline in Joplin. We are cold, we are breezy, but the skies are mostly clear out there. KDOT camera on 69 at Kansas Crossing. This is not in the right spot at all. Look, it's Wednesday. Okay, now we're back. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Again, just a handful of clouds out there. Otherwise, not too bad. There's that MoDOT camera again, just for a refresher, and a different KDOT camera on 69 just south of Pittsburgh, starting to get some daylight out there. Looking good, just not feeling good. Our camera 7th and Rangeline, beautiful shot of that sunrise. 22 feels like 7. Hibernate. Don't go outside. Just forget today. North breeze at 20, gusting to 31. The good news is at least these winds will eventually calm down, but as we're getting the day underway, yeah, it is absolutely cold. Teens, Yates Center, Iola, everyone else into the low to mid 20s out there, but that does not matter once you factor in that breeze. It feels like 2 in Iola and Yates Center. We broke record highs yesterday, and now it feels like it is 2. That's how powerful this cold front was. Look at these wind chills. Everyone in the single digits with those gusty north winds. Our air temperatures anywhere from 30 to almost 50 degrees colder this morning than where we were yesterday. So we told you it was going to happen. We kept saying it was going to drop 50 degrees, and that is exactly what happened. But man, it stinks. It's too cold. Way too cold, way too fast, going from 80 degrees to single digit wind chills. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm sure you folks at home don't either. 30 by 11 o'clock this morning, mostly clear skies, still gusty winds, but thankfully by this afternoon, those gusty winds will ease up. North breeze around 5 to 10. Doesn't affect our temperatures though, upper 30s, low 40s, so our highs after a record-breaking day yesterday, our highs today, 10 to 15 degrees below normal into the upper 30s and low 40s. Clear skies through the evening and into the overnight. We'll be cold again, upper 20s rather to near 30. Back to normal Thursday, mid-50s, mostly cloudy, gusty south winds at about 20, so not nearly as bad as they were yesterday. And maybe a stray shower or two in the evening. Then we're back up near 80 degrees by this weekend. We have another system, though, coming in Sunday into Monday. Brings us some showers Monday. We'll see some rain chances Wednesday and Friday as well. And it also cools our temperatures back down. But as you can see, it's not as significant as we only fall back into the low 60s and we return to the 70s by the end of next week. Let's check your forecast. Now, heading over to Health Watch this morning, COVID increased some healthcare disparities between the rich and the poor. A major study published in JAMA Network Open found low-income cancer patients were more likely to die at home and have less palliative care during the pandemic. Study's authors say more needs to be done to provide equitable access to health care. Bariatric surgery, also known as gastric bypass, is more effective at controlling type 2 diabetes than medical or lifestyle changes. According to researchers at the University of Pittsburgh, who found the surgery improved cholesterol and triglyceride levels more than traditional medications. They say bariatric surgery could possibly help diabetic patients even if their BMI isn't high enough to qualify for weight loss surgery. And more kids playing sports could save the U.S. $80 billion in healthcare costs. A study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine found playing sports didn't just improve kids' physical health, but it also reduced anxiety and depression. Youth sports participation nationwide declined during and after the pandemic. And this Black History Month, the student organization at Jefferson University aims to increase the number of black doctors. Stephanie Stahl has more.
Dressing for success. These second-year medical students at Jefferson Sidney Kimmel Medical College are members of black men in white coats.
With the intention of trying to increase the number of black men going into the field of medicine, it's a very challenging journey, and it's a journey that definitely does require a lot of assistance.
Kevin Carolina is a founding member of the group, inspired by his own experience.
I see the impact that the lack of diversity has on health outcomes within people that look like me.
The CDC says black people have higher rates of disease, health complications, and death. Part of that is blamed on a historic lack of trust of white doctors and not being able to find medical professionals of the same race. The Association of American Medical Colleges says diversity in medicine is improving, but still only 5% of doctors are black.
Although our numbers are rare within medicine, we're working to improve that and just kind of up those numbers as well.
Nathan DeLocht is also a member of Black Men in White Coats.
When I was younger, I never really had any role models who looked like me.
Here training in a simulation lab.
Just checking his airway, make sure everything's clear.
These future black doctors are supporting each other and hope to inspire more to be like them.
We're hoping to kind of enact change like within the school itself, bringing more black students to the school as well, but then also creating some change within the community.
They go to underserved communities with things like screening checks. The group is also working to improve access to better health care for black neighbors.
Ultimately, we want to uplift black voices.
Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
Say, are you game?
I am ready.
Then take a spin on the Wheel of Fortune.
Right now at 6:30, KDOT makes a change of plans for the Crawford County Corridor Project. Plus, we've got a very cold and windy start out there, but we'll get a little better. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up. And visitors to Galena can take a walk on the retro side of Route 66.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:31. I'm Chris Warner and it is cold out there. Can't emphasize that enough. I mean, we talked about it. We knew this cold front was coming. We knew it was going to have a significant impact on temperatures. And that's exactly what happened. And it's made it extraordinarily cold outside. Let's take a quick look at the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line in Joplin. And it looks good. It's looking back to the west. But what it doesn't tell you is how cold it is out there. KDOT camera on 69 at Kansas Crossing, also looking pretty good as this day gets underway, halfway through the work week. Boy, winter came back with a vengeance. Take a look at these temperatures. 22 in Joplin, 22 in Pittsburgh. So a very cold start out there. Kids getting on the bus absolutely want to bundle up because we still have those north winds gusting upwards of 30 this morning. All of the wind chills at last check across the region are in the single digits. Absolutely want to bundle up this morning. Mostly clear, breezy, 24 when the bus picks them up. When that bus brings them home, still mostly clear, 41, so a little better. And that north wind, the most important part, that calms down a bit. North breeze about 5 to 10 miles an hour. By this afternoon, again, the winds will calm down, but we do have a breezy morning, and it is a slow climb to our high temperatures today in the upper 30s, low 40s, but at least we'll be mostly clear. It'll look nice out there. Excuse me, it just won't feel all that nice out there, unfortunately. And it's so crazy. I know I've mentioned it, but just we broke record highs yesterday. We set record highs yesterday, and now today we are going to be anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below normal. However, this cold spell is short-lived. We'll have another complete look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Now to this morning's top stories. Yesterday was National Retro Day, but a store in Galena right along Route 66, celebrates the day every day. Gearhead Curios has a variety of vintage items, many of which were gifted to the store owner, Aaron Perry. To recreate the ambience of the past, Perry's creativity knows no bounds. But Gearhead Curios isn't just a magnet for international travelers, it's also a spot for locals.
I tell people that I get to offer an escape from reality to the people that are traveling back to nostalgic America.
Sometimes you get people stopping you, like, oh, so they ask you questions about it, and so you're like, you get to hear their stories and you tell them what you know.
Gearhead Curios restroom is also unique. If to wash your hands, for example, you use a gas pump nozzle. Perry says each day spent at the place is a fulfillment of a dream, and they are in Galena, open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Plans for a new bypass on Highway 69 near Pittsburgh are headed back to the drawing board. KDOT held a lunch at the Crestwood Country Club in Pittsburgh. There, they announced they were dropping the Western Alignment Plan for the Crawford County corridor in response to feedback. They also announced a new corridor study to reevaluate their options. That study will be broken into 2 phases. The first will collect traffic and safety data as well as public input. The second will develop plans to move forward.
We're going to be coming out for public meetings here this spring and this summer, and we're just going to really try to understand from all of the communities down here, the county, the various cities, try to understand what they need out of US 69.
The new study is expected to take 12 to 18 months to complete. Chetopa is losing its only grocery store. The employees of Chetopa Foods and Deli are waiting for the signal to close shop for good, as Chetopa residents are prepping for a new reality of living in a food desert. Kevin Vaughn, an employee for the last 3 years, says the owner of the grocery store made the decision to shut down the business, but has not picked a date.
He lives in New York, so he's here and there. He's a truck driver, so he's too busy, actually, I think, to actually sit down and think it over right now. He's just going by what the store's doing today.
We don't have contact information for the owner, but the employees we spoke with believe the store will close within the coming months. City of Pittsburgh tees up a groundbreaking ceremony on a new mini golf facility. City officials, key stakeholders, donors, and the community came out to celebrate and share details about the project located at the Four Oaks Golf Course. Private donations and grant funding made the facility possible.
It fell into a little bit of disrepair due to some drainage issues, some things that needed major remediation, and it was better to rebuild than remodel. So we made the decision to pursue funding. Obviously that's come through, and then starting next week in earnest, the golf course builders will be down and start going with the features and holes.
The new mini golf facility is expected to open by this summer. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's a favorite sauce at the dinner table and backyard barbecues, but pronouncing its name has bedeviled the best of the U.S. Yes, it has. Plus, we've got a cold but sunny day out there. We're going to have the latest on your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Sale and 0% interest for 7 years. Shop your local Ashley store today.
In Consumer Watch this morning, it's a favorite sauce at the dinner table and backyard barbecues. You can even find it behind the bar. But pronouncing its name has bedeviled the best of the U.S. So CBS's Ian Lee traveling to the source to hear how to say it once and for all.
Got tripped up.
Being myself Portuguese, I struggled in the beginning as well.
How did you used to say it?
Worcestershire.
The spicy sauce put this English town on the map, despite its difficult dictation for some.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
It rolls off the tongue for locals.
Born and bred in Worcestershire. Not Worcestershire, Worcestershire.
See, people were having such a difficult time with it that they froze. And I still have a hard time with that. Well, they didn't say it enough, so Worcestershire, no, they said it's not Shire. Can't do it. Well, that sauce was invented in the English town by two pharmacists. It's now exported to more than 100 countries around the world, including the U.S. That's one of my dad's favorite steak sauces back in the day. Toyota recalling nearly 400,000 Tacoma trucks affecting model years 2022 to 2023. Company says the problem is with the truck's rear axles, and that can increase the risk of a crash. Impacted owners will be notified through the mail in the coming weeks for a free repair at a dealership. Big changes at Macy's. The retail chain is closing about 150 stores while investing to improve the remaining 350 locations. Macy's also plans to expand its Bloomingdale's department stores and its beauty chain, Blue Mercury. Wendy's plans to test an Uber-style pricing model as soon as next year. Fast food chain is using AI for dynamic pricing, which would cause the price of its products to fluctuate based on factors like rush hour and the weather. Some experts are warning that Wendy's plan could get a frosty reception from some customers. It doesn't sound like a great plan, but okay, we'll see how that goes. And how do you feel about the U.S. economy? Well, that's the core question behind the Customer Confidence Index out Tuesday, which found more Americans are feeling less confident. February's index fell on concerns of rising gas prices and the jobs market. But Amy Kiley has an alternative. How do you feel about your grocery bill?
The Consumer Confidence Index is out today, but a simpler measure of how Americans feel about the economy might be a trip to the supermarket.
Families still had to put food on the table in the face of a food price surge.
Wage growth isn't making up for historically high prices completely. A new report shows record U.S. credit card debt in the fourth quarter of last year. It's not as bad when adjusted for inflation, and that inflation is cooling. But in the meantime, Kellogg's is now advertising cereal as a dinner food.
If you think about the cost of cereal for a family versus what they might otherwise do, that's going to be much more affordable.
And with a lawsuit filed yesterday, the Federal Trade Commission is trying to block the largest supermarket merger in American history. Kroger and Albertsons say uniting would offset the cost of their unionized workforces. The FTC argues the deal would reduce competition and raise food prices. Its suit could be a follow-up to a campaign promise.
There are still too many corporations in America ripping people off. Price gouging, junk fees, greedflation, shrinkflation.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
That's going to do it for Consumer Watch this morning. We're going to take another quick look at your forecast. This is a look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. Look at it shaking in the wind out there, and it is a very breezy start to the day across the area, but as you can see, only a cloud or two, and they're not even that big out there. Otherwise, a beautiful sunrise, but those gusty winds causing some very, very cold wind chills. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. Sometimes there's that lag, so these cars stretch out like that, or maybe they really are that big. You never know. Looking good otherwise. Looking back to the west, you can see we've got clear skies out there. Nice start to the day, except for the temperatures. And same from the KDOT camera on 69, right at the Kansas Crossing intersection, looking roughly back to the north along the highway. So at least weather-wise, we're not bad. It's the temperatures that are really bad out there. It is 22 in Joplin right now, 21 in Pittsburgh, and you factor in the wind, we've got wind chills into the single digits across the entire area. So with that said, kids getting on the bus this morning, yeah, air temperature maybe 24, but with that north wind gusting upwards of 30, you're going to want to bundle up because, as I mentioned, we're still dealing with those wind chills into the single digits across nearly every reporting station in our viewing area this morning. As the bus brings them back home, though, it is that much warmer. Upper 30s, low 40s, about 41 by this afternoon, mostly clear. But the good news is, at least, the winds calm down north at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So that's some good news there. We're going to have another check of your forecast and tell you just how long this miserable little cold spell lasts here in just a moment. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Emmy winner Carrie Preston is here to talk about our new CBS show. It's called Elsbeth. Plus, Drew Barrymore and Ross Matthews. Always fun when they drop by for a special talk at the table. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
Right now, Food Hero Fund for the application and guidelines.
All right, time for some birthdays here on this Wednesday. And we're going to start in St. Paul with Tim Smith celebrating birthday number 61. Happy birthday, Tim. And just over in Independence, Natasha Dillon, celebrating birthday number 46. A very happy birthday to you. Parker Hendren celebrating birthday number 11, and that is one big fish there, Parker. Happy birthday to you. And in Girard, Emma Long celebrating birthday number 10 says, happy birthday, Emma. Love Dad, Aubrey, and Hayes. And that's it. Only 4 names on this list. Guys, we want to celebrate these birthdays and anniversaries with you. And the only way we can do that is if you send them to us. And here's how you can send them to us: via email at birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. And of course, make sure you meet that deadline down there. That just ensures your birthday or anniversary will be airing on the correct day so that your loved ones will be able to tune in and see it. So please send us more birthdays and anniversaries, because 4, I don't think I've ever seen that list that short here. All right, let's talk about the forecast, because with such a short birthday list, left us with time to do so. This is our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Beautiful start to the day. There were a couple of clouds out here earlier, just a few minutes ago. They are gone. Taking a look from the other direction, looking back west from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line. Again, clear skies out there and not seeing any clouds out there either. KDOT camera on 69, just south of Pittsburgh, looking back roughly to the northwest, also looking fairly good out there. And same with our camera at 7th and Range Line. The only problem is it's cold. 22 in Joplin. Feels like 7. North breeze at 20, gusting upwards of 31 miles an hour out there. Cold out there across the area. Iola and Yates Center into the teens. Everyone else at least in the 20s. But once you factor in that gusty north wind, that doesn't matter. Every last reporting station in our area, wind chills in the single digits. Now, can you believe that 24 hours ago, we were almost 50 degrees warmer than where we are right now? We mentioned that cold front was going to have that kind of power, and it did. And it is bitterly cold out there. It's a huge change. We broke records yesterday with our high temperatures, and our high temperatures today are going to struggle to even make average. They're not even going to be close to average today. Just wait 5 minutes and the weather will change, and that's exactly what happened. All right, getting the morning started. The gusty winds continue through at least 11, and we're going to be cold, 30, but we've got mostly clear skies. So we have that sky of deception where it looks nice outside, and you walk outside and it's not nice at all. In fact, it's rather disrespectful out there. Mostly clear through the afternoon. The winds again will calm down. We're looking at highs upper 30s, right around the low 40s, so anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees below normal out there. As we head into the evening, clear skies, cold, upper 20s to right around 30. So believe it or not, our lows are only a wee bit off of normal as we head into tonight. And the winds are still calm. Now, for our Thursday, the winds are going to pick up a bit, gusting out of the south, upwards of about 20, but our highs are about average, 55. However, clouds increase. We go mostly cloudy, and by late evening Thursday, could see a stray shower or two out there. Nothing widespread, nothing crazy, but some rain possible in some locations. As we head into the weekend, we continue to warm up. Now we go right back to near 80 by Saturday and Sunday as we get into this false summer that suddenly shows up again. We get another system. We get a little windy on Sunday, and another system brings us some rain by Monday morning, and it also knocks our temperatures down. But as you can see, not as much of a punch as this last one just had. We get chilly, or well, not chilly, not even chilly. We get cool. We cool back. Low 60s, back to the 70s by the end of the week with some rain chances again on Wednesday and again by next Friday. Let's check your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News, plus the news you need to know in just a moment. And when we make the switch to Fox 14, that happens at 7 a.m., by the way, we're going to hear how a young boy celebrates the 10th anniversary of his heart transplant. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Fire crews in Neosho battled a grass fire in Morse Park yesterday. Fire department got the call around 1:30 in the afternoon. When they arrived, they found active flames rushing through the wildland brush, burning leaves and spreading quickly. Crews worked hot spots for hours as an estimated 30 acres burned. No homes or buildings were damaged. The cause of the fire is unknown. Cleanup at the Jasper County Courthouse has finished, and officials are starting the next phase. Nearly 1/3 of the courthouse offices were affected when a pipe burst over a month ago. However, officials are now looking to start the rebuilding process for those offices in the coming weeks. If you do need to access any of the affected offices, officials say the Joplin offices are going to be the best place to conduct business, and of course you can also do so online. And the city of Pittsburgh tees up groundbreaking ceremony on a new mini golf facility. City officials, key stakeholders, donors, and the community came out to celebrate the project located at the Four Oaks Golf Course. Private donations and grant funding made the facility possible. The new mini golf facility is expected to be open by this summer. And it is cold out there. We're looking at highs upper 30s, low 40s, mostly clear skies. The good news is, again, the winds will calm down by this afternoon. Mostly clear skies through the evening and overnight, back into the upper 20s to near 30 degrees. And by our Thursday, we actually get close to average, mid-50s, mostly cloudy, gusty south winds pushing 20. Could see a stray evening shower or two out there, but otherwise not too bad. We're back to near 80 degrees as we head into this upcoming weekend. A little breezy on Sunday. Another system brings us rain on Monday. Does bring our temperatures down just a wee bit this time into the low 60s. More rain next Wednesday and Friday, and we're going back to the 70s by the end of next week. And I don't mean time travel, I'm talking temperatures. Coming up today at noon, we are making old-fashioned roast beef in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. And your morning news, of course, continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Romance novels are changing to bring in new fans. Coming up on CBS Mornings, how TikTok has helped the genre gain popularity. Or, of course, you could switch over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, visitors to Galena can take a walk on the retro side of Route 66. Plus, Sherry Nelson joining us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. However, that is going to wrap it up for us for now. We had so much fun well, the folks in the back, you guys had fun, right? They said, sure. We all had so much fun with you this morning. We're going to come back and do it again tomorrow at 5 a.m. And, of course, we'll be back here today at noon. Have a great rest of your day.
Nova Village cordially invites you to Mom Prom, Night with the Stars.
Legacy Award winner.
All right, thanks, Michelle, and we'll have much more coming from